Hi everyone, this is John Wen. Today is November 18th, 2020. In today's video, I'm going to go through the research updates since the past week. As you can see, I was able to be focused on a single item, which is deep learning workflow from the past week. However, there was a 2 days partial power outage in my home area because of the bad weather, so the power was back up last night and I have to spend some time to deal with the dark. But I think the things going well and I still have few things to update for this week. Here is a review of the past week, which is a plan of the deep learning workflow implementation in DataView. And this week I read more about the DataView infrastructure and think about more how to align the deep learning workflow implementation with the current deep learning DataView infrastructure. So here I have some better idea. Basically, I'm trying to hide as much as detail from the user's point. So here, user only need to specify what kind of layers they need. For example, like here, they only need 4 layers in order to construct their deep learning workflow, and more works will be hiding behind the planner and executor. For example, we can have different planners. Like here, we have the planner 1, which is a stochastic gradient descent planner, which is going to do the forward propagation on a single row, and then based on the arrow, we will do the backward propagation. So in this way, the planner will construct the cyclic graph by dynamically construct adjacency list of the edges. Basically, they will repeat this cycle by certain number of epochs. So this cyclic graph will repeat certain amount of time. But remember, every time for the forward propagation will have different data input because every time we'll have new data. On the other hand, maybe we can have another planner, which is planner 2, which is a mini batch gradient descent, which is going to have the forward propagation for a certain amount of time, and we will average the overall arrow for this certain times of forward propagation, and we will do a single backward propagation after those forward propagation. So this is a mini batch, which is saving some times and make the neural network more robust, and it's not be able to be too sensitive to the small changes. So we will average the arrow, and this will require the planner to change the adjacency list as well, because we will do the forward propagation for a certain amount of time. That means the red circle will happen certain amount of time before we put into the backward propagation. So this is something I'm thinking about. Maybe we can play with a planner, which is able to help us to construct behind the scene and how it will actually work. And furthermore, maybe we can introduce a tensor in the DataView infrastructure or the DataView models, and which will be very helpful to explore the parallelism in the GPU, because as we know, the mini batch most of the time will be happen with a tensor, so that helps to save the time and can be trained in a total. And for the second item, I was working on the neural network and try to construct the DLL file for each layer. And this is still an ongoing work. And I'm trying to construct each layer. For example, like the linear layer, I will export every method. For example, like the update the weight, like the update the bias, or do the linear layer constructor, and as well as initialize weight. So for every layer will be exported as a DLL, and then we can call the method inside freely from the GNI. So that will help us to be more flexible to call the different methods in different epochs or different paths, because based on the planner we may need to call the different items. So this is something I'm still working on, and I'm trying to export the different methods. And here I have some export different export different methods, and I'm trying to run the DLL, but this is not working at this moment. The details, the sample details was recorded in the last week or the week before the last. So I think I will do the similar thing for exporting them one by one. But one more thing I think maybe like it's worthwhile to mention is that I will write some dummy method to wrap those CUDA methods, so that will help us to be easier export the method into the GNI, which is going to be called from DLL. So that is a plan for the future work and also an ongoing work. So hopefully you enjoy this video. I think that's pretty much for today's presentation. Thank you so much for your time. Hope you enjoy. Until next time, happy coding.